Yesterday we talked very, very quickly about the power of four and something that we call here F4. And the four things that you really need to build your business. And so the first thing is a flight path. We're going to be talking about the flight path a little bit more deeply this afternoon, but the flight path is essentially another way to call it is the offer stack, or just the sequence or the different offers that you have for people to come and engage with you at different levels in the business. And we'll talk about that more in depth in a moment. I don't want you to get too caught up in that just yet. And then we need our first offer. Our first offer is our most important offer. Many of you may have heard of a signature offer before. Some brands, some companies have something called a signature offer. What we're really looking to create right now in your first offer is that signature offer, is the thing that you do best and helps with the most extreme transformation that you can provide. And then once we have that established within our offer, we're obviously going to look at how we're packaging that up, how we're pricing that. One of the fundamentals that we talked about yesterday when we talked about that restaurant analogy. So we were talking about packaging and pricing the meal according to the right client and then the type of restaurant, right? So that's what we're going to do. And then we need a funnel. We need some way for people to find that offer, right? So we need to bring people into our world through a very intentional strategic funnel that we are going to help you build also. And then what do we need, guys? We need friends. And so, yes, we need our friends, but we need all of the beautiful people in the world who are going to be friends with our business. And so we need to figure out how are we going to access those people and entice them to come into our restaurant. All right. And so the flight path is really, can we go back to the last slide, please? The flight path is the first part of your strong business, right? So here at CSE, you've heard Melissa say this many times, right? We are really about building a better business and building a better you, building a better business, building a better world, right? And what we want for you all is to have reliable, repeatable results. And the way that we do that is we build that through a strong flight path so that we can make sure, like, Jane did, created her offer, and now she's going to rinse and repeat how she presented that offer for reliable, repeatable results. And the flight path is the way to do that. All right. So the way that we develop our flight path, we are really looking at one of our CSE isms, or Melissa isms, as we call them here, is we want to find the fastest path to the right cash. And that is going to look different for each and every one of you. Okay. This is why we can't take generic business advice and apply it to our business, because every single one of you has a different right path to the right cash. And not just the right path, but the fastest path. So, for example, Melissa, we talked a little bit about yesterday, volume versus high ticket, right? If we have a $5 offer, right, for a beautiful $5, phone case, right? It's great. It's wonderful. Protect your phone. We got to sell thousands of that to make most of our revenue goal, right? So unless we have a big audience and a lot of people who are already in our funnel, right? In that funnel, lots of friends in that funnel, that might not be the right offer, the right cash for us right now. But maybe we can put that into a package of 100 phone cases and sell that to an organization, and that becomes a better path to the right cash, right? So what we're looking for today, whether you're a product business or a service business, which most of you are service businesses, I know we have some products in here too, is thinking about where we should begin building that flight path. And the way that we do that is to really understand what your goals are. So I want you guys to think about yesterday, thinking about what were you dreaming of? What do you want to accomplish and achieve for your business and for your life? What are your goals and why, right? So we want to think about that first. So your revenue goals and your overall business goals. And then we need to sort of measure that against what we call our equity set. So your equity set is your current knowledge, your current experience, your current resources, your current level of capital, and your existing clientele. We know and have no doubt that you're going to gain knowledge and experience and have more resources and so on going forward. But where we build from is where you are right now. So the exercise, what we're going to look at now is really understanding individually, because again, this is going to look different for each and every one of you, where you are in terms of general business stage and your capability set. And that will dictate and determine what type of offer, what type of right cash would be right for you right now. So I don't want you to get caught up in the semantics here. So when we say beginning or bootstrapping, we don't mean that you are a beginner in the thing that you do. We mean that you are beginning in terms of maybe experience as an entrepreneur, or beginner in terms of resources or access to capital, right? Ready to grow and ready to scale are two other spheres here, right? So we're going to look at all of them. In the first circle, that black circle that you see, if you are a beginner or a bootstrapper, the way you might know that is that you don't really have too much of an audience yet. You might have some social media following, you might have some people in your network, maybe you even have a small email list, but you don't have too much of an audience right now. Perhaps you don't really have the systems or the tech, the operations really set up in your business yet. Maybe you're just starting out, you haven't made that any money, or maybe you haven't made that much revenue in your business yet. And you have a big dream, you just don't have all of the things in place just yet to execute on that big dream. So your right cash would likely be a high ticket offer. And the reason that is because we don't need that many people in our audience to convert into one item, right? Versus that $5 phone case that we need hundreds, if not thousands of people to purchase. Rather, we have a $3,000 service or package that we offer, and we just need 1 or 2 or 3 clients to meet that revenue goal that we have. Stage 2, ready to grow. You might have an audience, some sort of, network around you that you could tap into for clientele. You have some capital, maybe not, you don't have a ton of resource, but you have leveraged some of the revenue that you've made already, or maybe you have access to capital in some way. Maybe you are setting up your systems and your operations are in order, right? And you're getting more clear on your message. You're getting more clear on what it is that you provide, for whom, what you do. So you're really starting to stabilize here. That would be the ready to grow business stage. And the right cash here might be something like a live event, putting on sort of, a retreat, a live event, or 3-day masterclass in person, like a 5-day class like this, what we're doing here. A group program might be right for you at this stage, right? Because now you can serve one to many rather than one to one and increase your revenue that way. So those are some things to look at in the ready to grow phase. And if you're ready to scale, then you are likely a much more established business. You have an audience already built in. They know, like, and trust you already. You're not establishing that know, like, and trust. You're not just getting to know you, and they're not just getting to know you, and you're not just getting to know your audience. You're not in that experimental stage anymore. You've got systems and operations in place. You have stabilized your business. And now you're taking the thing that has worked and you are bringing it to more and more people. That is the true definition of scaling, right? Is doing what you do better and faster and serving more people with it. So the right cash for someone who is in the scaling phase might look like a one to many offer, something like a membership, maybe courses, right? Digital products might be something that we offer when we are ready to scale. All right, questions about this? All right, we will keep moving. All right. So now we're going to go into a quick Pomodoro. So we're just going to take a few minutes just to ideate, really thinking about where you are. And let's really try not to let our feelings get too far into this, right? Because I too was once for many years, I spent in the beginning and bootstrapping phase, not because I was a beginner at what I did, but because I kept getting more clear and more clear on who I was serving, how I was serving them. So I stayed in that world for longer until I got really clear on who I serve, how I serve, and started building an audience that knows me for what I do. Now I'm many years in, I'm still just in that ready to grow phase. I'm not yet in a scaling phase. So it takes time to get there. So don't let the semantics get in your way, but really think about where you're at, and we will build your offer from that place.